What's up, guys? Nate back here again with some more Welfare Wednesday. And today we're talking about a couple different things. Carbohydrates and also the newest fake sugar thing out there. I was looking at social media a couple days ago and I started noticing that I'm seeing more and more people talk about different fake junk foods. And we talked a little bit about this last time. But these things irritate the crap out of me because they're generally not healthy for you at all. And we've talked about this several times, that your body creates a log of different flavors. So essentially you're tricking your body into thinking that sugar doesn't have any calories. The latest one we tried was these No Better cookies, and they taste like a sponge that's been put in your blender and stuck together with blended, I don't know, ground together and smashed together and turned into a weird fluffy cookie thing that does not taste like a cookie. I cannot imagine eating one of these things if you're hungry for a cookie, because they don't taste like a cookie. Like, why would you not just not eat them and eat something else? So, and then I also had this allulose-based fake junk food pancake batter mix, and then I also had allulose-based syrup and allulose-based marshmallows, and then I had diarrhea, allulose-based diarrhea. So it turns out that your body doesn't actually digest allulose. It doesn't have the enzyme to break it down, so if you have too much, all out the back end. So the thing still stands that allulose is the newest and greatest sugar replacer that they haven't found any issues with yet. But remember that sweetness is supposed to contain calories so that your body can get used to burning calories with your food. Anyway, that's all I wanted to touch on that for a second. Continue to stay strong with the opinion of don't eat fake junk food if you're going to eat it. Now, the question we're talking about a little bit more specifically today, and really the point of this whole thing, is the question of low fat diet versus low carbohydrates diets is coming up yet again. Dog, don't you scratch your dish. So the question is, do you lose fat better on a low carbohydrate? Flash, stop it. Low carbohydrate diet or a low fat diet? And there are people who sit on both sides of the line. They battle and they say no fat, low fat is the best way to go, and then other people sit on the other side of the line. They say no, low carbohydrate is the best way to go, and then you got keto foods and paleo foods and all this other stuff that's supposed to tout that same result. And there's all these people that go online and talk about how all these people give expert advice and defend it to the death when the best people in the world don't have all the answers yet. So, in sharing a little bit of study with you, the biggest problem that we've had with studying any solid dietary advice is that most of the time we're doing observational studies. So that's that we observe that a certain group of people are eating a certain way, and we observe that another group of people are eating a certain way, and then we say, well, group A, who's eating this way, had this health result, so it's because of that nutritional style, and group B ate this specific kind of way, so it's because of that nutritional style that they have these health ailments or these positive health traits. And the reality is that it's too uncontrolled to know. So we actually have some studies now. There was a theory that was put out a while ago called the insulin carbohydrate theory. It basically said that because diabetics are insulin resistant, that if we got your insulin to come down farther, people would be less insulin resistant, and then you would therefore lose fat. How do you do that? Well, you get rid of a lot of carbohydrate out of your diet. So in the first study of its kind, they actually took a group of 17 people who ate low carbohydrate diets and 17 people who ate low fat diets, comparing the two healthier versions, put them in a hospital, had them eat their normal diet for a month, and then switched them over to a low carbohydrate diet to measure what would happen after their insulin dropped way down. So this is a super comprehensive study, really, really good. And it comes to us from it was reposted on Fox.com. So the question is, we've long blamed carbs for making us fat. What if it's wrong? Bah, bah, bah. So let's take a look at this for a second. So we know, I'll just read some of this stuff for you. One of the most hotly contested areas of dieting, obviously, and they're saying that people who are all about low carb make really specific claims about what cutting carbohydrate out does, but we don't actually know. So it's exploring the carbohydrate insulin hypothesis. They really started getting big when Gary Taubes put out a book that was called, I don't remember what it was called, but I read it, and I thought it was a really good book at the time, pretty well researched. But he's largely popular for producing the theory that it's insulin going up that makes you fat, not consuming fat. And then, so this is interesting. So we go into the part that I just told you about, where the actual study. So it's highlighted in yellow right here. And look, it talks immediately about insulin, or what you call it, diabetes right here. So anyway, Hall was the name of the researcher, if you read this in yellow. Hall and his colleagues convened 17 overweight and obese patients to the hospital for 2 months, where they measured their every moment and carefully controlled what they were eating. So there's no study that's done that outside of this one so far. This is the only one of its kind, where they actually measure everything for a month. This study had to be crazy expensive. Diet researchers call this the gold standard, since it was an extremely well-controlled experiment with all food being provided, and it used the best technology for measuring energy expenditure and body consumption. So far what we've got is a really well-controlled test setup. It's the best way, it's the most conclusive way to actually study what nutrition would do to somebody internally, because you're measuring them both before and after, and in an environment where they can't sneak anything because everything's being monitored. So we'll go back to it. So for the first month of the study, they were eating their normal baseline diet, which would have been a normal average American diet, higher in carbohydrate, and then they measured their energy expenditure and all that, and then afterwards put them on this kind of a diet on this side, which is a low carbohydrate diet, to compare the two. Now, they did measure that there was a significant drop in insulin when they went on the low carbohydrate diet, which is what we'd expect, right? Your insulin drops down because your body doesn't need it to transport sugar into the muscles. What we didn't expect is that there was a really minor change in calories burned. So it was amounted to about 100 extra per day, and less than 300 to 3. It's just saying that most of these guys who talk about the benefits of going low carb will say that it increases your metabolism by like 300 to 600 calories a day, which was just absolutely not true. According to the insulin carbohydrate model, we should have seen an acceleration in the rate of body fat loss when insulin secretion was cut by 50%, but they didn't, which he thinks suggests that the regulation of fat tissue storage in the body has to do more with than just insulin levels and their leadership with the carbs they eat. So this study is basically throwing a huge wrench in the low carb or the low fat camp. Okay, it's acknowledging a couple of its limitations, which means that they still haven't had a broad enough study or studied enough. There's a couple different areas that they need to examine more closely to see, what some of these things mean. But overall, it's blown a huge hole in this whole low carbohydrate theory. Now, they also found that while people who go on a low carbohydrate diet lose more fat undoubtedly in the first couple of weeks, in the last couple of weeks, like 6 weeks later, the low fat people catch up to them. So long term, there's no benefit one over the other. And they also shown multiple times that after a year of eating of a certain style, that both groups plan out to about the same level of weight loss. So continuing to study all the time, continuing to learn more. I hope all of us do. And overall, I hope that this will kind of give us something else to consider as we're on our journeys to figure out better ways to take care of our health and to, just have a better discussion about it as a whole. So stay tuned. We'll keep exploring it. As of right now, we're telling people the number one nutritional advice: eat lots of veggies, 4 to 6 cups a day, have some lean meats, allow fats to happen naturally, and don't let yourself starve for long periods of time. And you should overall be a healthier, better person for it. Hope you guys have a great night. If you have any questions, email mywellfitlife@gmail.com or visit wellfitlife.me for more info. Other than that, I hope you have a great night, y'all.